My question's regarding vaccine injury schemes. Is there someone I can speak to about that, please?
Yes, Senator, we'll get Ms Facially to the table. If you want to ask your question, we can get started.
Sure. Okay. First question is, last year there were 10,000 reports of vaccine injury claims, and then later this year, in August, there were only 3,000 claims reported. What happened to the 7,000 claims, given that at November last year there were about 78,000 reported injuries, and at August this year there were 130,000 reported injuries? So I find it surprising that 7,000 claims just disappeared and that no more came on board, given that there were another 50-odd thousand reported injuries to the day and injury website, vaccine website.
So, Senator, we operate the vaccine claim scheme for the Department of Health, and we receive claims. I think the only thing we can assist with is the number of claims we've received, and that remained on the 19th of October at 3,010.
So what happened to the report last year in the media that said there was 10,000 claims? Why did that drop, do you know?
I can't assist you with the media reporting, Senator.
Okay. So of the 770,000 that have been paid out this year, I know that there were 12 deaths reported that the TGA acknowledges were deaths from the vaccine, in particular AZ. And then the article in the Sydney Morning Herald in August said there were also 43 injuries paid out. Isn't $770,000 not a lot of money for 12 deaths and 43 injuries?
We can comment, Senator, on the process, how many claims we've received, how many claims we've paid out. The matters of the scheme construct, the payout rates, we can assist with some information, but those are policy matters for the Department of Health.
Right, okay. So let me go back to that missing, or where that 7,000 number decreased. Can you explain why that number decreased? Who do I need to ask about that? Because I need to find out why that number decreased from 10,000 to 3,000.
Senator, I think you'd need to direct those questions to the Department of Health. All I can talk to you about is the number of claims we've received, the number of claims we've paid out, and the number of claims we're currently working on. Okay,
so the original claim of 10,000 came from Department of Services last year in November.
No, Senator, I don't know what the number is that you're referring to.
Well, it's all through various websites from last, and it quoted basically you guys, Department of Services.
Okay.
It quoted the Department of Services, that number coming from the Department of Services.
Yes, Senator, it's to do with an intent to claim process. I'll let Ms Facially talk about that. So people were given an opportunity to suggest that they might have an injury and have an intent to claim, and it would so we have not received 10,000 claims, would be what I would say, but I'll ask Ms Facially to answer that.
So you went from an intent to claim. Surely if people had an intent to claim, they must have felt that they were injured.
Senator, all we could say is that people, there was no barrier to filling in the online intent to claim.
Right.
And then when the claim scheme was fully established and people have come into the claim scheme and seen what was required, I think that probably accounts for some of the delta that you would have received.
So that would include things like they didn't spend a night in hospital, or they had a side effect that wasn't recognised by Pfizer or AZ?
That will be some. So Kirsty Facially, Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Health and Aged Care Group, that will be some of it. So when the intent to claim, that was a very early element to it as the government was formulating the actual scheme itself. It didn't make clear what the policy parameters would be. So once the policy parameters, which are very clearly set out in the
I'm well aware of them. Yeah, they're very narrow. Yeah.
And they indicate what injuries. A lot of people know, we've all been there, you think a vax arm, is that an injury? So people will have put intent to claim not thinking or understanding what the severity of the requirements to be able to get compensation for what is a vaccine injury.
And then, so can I just ask a question? Yeah, and I don't think they'll be able to answer, I just need to know who to ask. So in regards to claims being knocked back because they don't recognise. So I've got one claim here where 2 neurologists, a haematologist, a GP, 3 GPs, a medical registrar, has all said this is a vaccine injury and it's still been knocked back. Who do I need to speak to about that?
I think, Senator, if you've got a particular case, perhaps you can provide that to Services Australia, and we will take that. And
but given that you're not medical experts, you would refer that on to someone?
We would refer that to the Department of Health.
Okay, so I'll bring this back with the Department of Health tomorrow. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Senator Rennick.
Authorised G. Rennick, LNP Chermside.